UFC 303. Let's first start with a shout out to the Karate Hottie. She has officially retired after her loss to Gillian Robertson. I didn't think she was going to win that fight anyways, and she's been in the game for a long time, so I think it's time to hang up the gloves and be the hottie mommy that you now are. So salute to Karate Hottie, one of the finest women in MMA. And yeah, so leave a comment down below for the appreciation of the hottie mommy. That is Karate Mommy. Karate Mommy. Hottie Karate. I can't even say her name right anymore. Anyways, let's move on. This is a timeline from Wonderbond MMA. This is a timeline, their inevitable matchup.
Maybe even a future opponent for you one day.
Who's fighting next?
Kevin Holland in Miami.
There's no way he beats Kevin Holland. So no.
There's no way.
So we can't get too excited about potentially in Garry MVP matchup.
Unless he passes me out of the division somehow and his number's higher than mine, zero interest.
Bro, you are 2 for 2. Not that good at this, are you? But I'm gonna give you one more chance. Last question. Who do you reckon is gonna win our fight?
Okay, so that's when they announced the fight. Obviously, we saw the fight play out. I will say MVP did better than I was expecting because I didn't think he was going to have trouble with Ian Garry. I just thought he was going to have trouble with him running away the whole time. So he was able to catch Ian a lot more, and it is extremely obvious that MVP is the superior striker, as much as Ian Garry was trying to hype himself up as being faster than MVP. So yeah, but that decision victory, I think it was unanimous, right? I think they gave all 3 rounds to Ian. And I think it's probably based on the control time. And once again, I'm going to say it again, that the judging criteria for MMA should be for MMA and not so heavily on the jiu-jitsu aspect, the grappling aspect. Especially with that 3rd round when I will admit, Ian had good back control for that 3rd round as they were finishing it off at the beginning. You know, but then as MVP started leaning forward and loosening that grip, he didn't really have control there. So I don't know. I didn't really see that. It could have been a straight up split, like a draw. It could have been a straight up draw. At the UFC stats on Twitter says Ian Garry went for his finisher, and it's this this iconic, really gay looking clinch, ass out clinch that he does. Knuckles_Stan on Twitter says, have Ian Garry fight Shavkat next. I want to see something. And it's just this crazy face. All right, John Jones, GSP Anderson. Ian Machado Garry says, it's destiny for him to be the GOAT in the conversation. Okay, let's take a look at this delusional take.
I am on my road to destiny to be one of the greatest of all time. I'm going to do that by any means necessary, and I don't care how it gets done. In 10 years' time, my name is going to be in that GOAT conversation. You're going to, who's the greatest of all time? You're going to say John Jones, GSP, Anderson Silva, Ian Machado Garry. I'm going to have my name in that conversation because it's opinion-based. If you're Brazilian, you'll say Anderson Silva. If you're American, you might say John Jones. We could all sit here and have all of our opinions. As long as my name's in that conversation, I've had a successful career.
God, it's so crazy how someone can be so up their own ass, so delusional. Because, I mean, Ian Garry, initially in the beginning, he was doing really good. He definitely stood out as an upcoming, not greatest of all time, but just a really good fighter. But his last few performances haven't really shown him to be this dominant fighter. He's winning, but barely, and not really winning like a GSP or like a John Jones. When John Jones fights, it looks like a fight. Fists are being exchanged. There's wrestling, actual successful wrestling exchanges. All the overall martial arts exchanges between John Jones and his opponents, they are real fights. But Ian Garry, with him running away from Geoff Neal in the last fight, and then him just getting smacked around in this fight and shooting for the clinch or grappling because he can't stand with MVP, it's not looking like GOAT material. And to say that it is objective, I would say that's true, but I would say it's not objectively true to the Brazilians or the Irish, because he's saying whatever country you're from, they're gonna, like he said, Brazilians will say Anderson Silva. Well, he's trying to insert himself in the Brazilian culture, by moving to Brazil and training with the Brazilian fighters, who I'm sure because of the language barrier, even though he can speak Portuguese, they still haven't picked up the complete vibe on Ian Garry yet. And I think they're just impressed with him being Irish and being able to speak Portuguese. Probably gives him some pointers, which I'll give him props for that too. You know, moving to another country and speaking the native language is a respectable thing. But Ian Garry is still, in my opinion, is not a respectable person. Okay, next, let's move on to the first light heavyweight, not the first light, but the first light heavyweight on the main card. It's crazy how much it changed. So here's the original right here. Originally, it was supposed to be Hill versus Roundtree, which would have been pretty interesting because Roundtree, man, he's really good. But then Roundtree had to drop out, so then it was Hill versus Earlberg, which Earlberg is also a great fighter. And then it switched, and then we lost Jamal Hill. And then it was Smith versus Earlberg. And then we lost Earlberg, and then it was Smith versus Delitse. Forgot how to say his name. Yeah, but either way, you know what? I mean, man, Anthony Smith looked bad. It was not good. It was not a good night for Anthony Smith, man. I feel bad for the guy. But if I had to, out of all of these 4 cards right here, if I could have chose a fight to watch, I would have loved to have seen Roundtree versus Earlberg. That would have been a banger of a fight right there. Hopefully, have they ever fought? If they have, I haven't seen it. Anyways, moving on. So Diego Lopes here, UFC 295, UFC 300, UFC 303, ready all the time with the Mexico-Brazilian flag. Dude, Diego Lopes is that guy. Let me tell you. This guy right here, Braxmore on Twitter says Giga Chad Lopez. Approved. Homelander MMA on Twitter says, I'm going to my barber and saying, I want this. He shows this picture. The Diego Lopez mullet. Yeah, his hair is pretty sick. Here, Garrett Armfield on Twitter, Armfield135. It's those Dan Ige and Diego Lopez just with their balls out carrying the card. Okay, so before we get into the main card, let's talk about the evolution of it. How it started from Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler and turned into what we got. Okay, Connor Burks on Twitter posts Chandler. I wake up at 4 a.m. every morning, train for 6 hours a day, and bed by 9 p.m. sharp. Walk on, see you at the top. And then here it's Conor McGregor. Basically. Right here, Jason Williams on Twitter. How the drugs and alcohol are talking to Conor McGregor when he's trying to stay sober.
Coward. We have a new world to conquer. You make me sick.
Leave me alone, please.
Yeah, Conor's definitely got a party problem. From OOC MMA, says last night. If Conor McGregor actually beats Chandler, it's going to be the funniest shit ever. And then it's just this clip of him partying. At the end, he tried to like reveal some tit. From Mr. Testosterone, who my girlfriend will be hearing in the shower for the next 4 weeks.
Who is that guy? Who the fuck is that? Dana! 50 G's, baby! Da 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 da! It's the motherfucking deal double G. You rock! You rock! Where's Noah? Fuck the Mayweathers! Your wife is in the DM.
Okay. Another one from OOC MMA. I've told you 10 times that my leg is broken. Tell the fans that the fight is off. And then Hunter. I don't know. It sounds like you're scared of Chandler. Not to me, not gonna lie. God. And then Michael Chandler was at the fight too. He was present for the fight. But let's take a look at some Michael Chandler memes. All right, from MMA Thanos. It's the Michael Chandler with the speech bubble says, you ever wasted 3 years of your life with somebody? I almost fought Conor McGregor. It's Michael Chandler just looking like an old man. From Mr. Testosterone. It's the same image, but just even older. This is Game Over Son, UFC 303. Oh, from OOC MMA. I'm here at UFC 303 because I signed a contract that said I would be here. That's what a man does. This is my event. And then this is Wojak. Sir, please show me your ticket or leave. I do not know who you are. Oh, poor Michael. From Homelander MMA. Never ask a woman her age, a man his salary. Dana White. What's going on behind the scenes with McGregor and Michael Chandler? From Mr. Testosterone, what time are you coming? And then he sends them a picture of Kamzat and Connor. What the fuck does that mean? It means I'm not showing up. Oh God, I need a drink of water. Give me a moment. All right, let's take a look now at the news around the replacement fight with Alex Pereira and Jiri Prochazka both stepping in again to save another card, just like they did UFC 300. Okay, here reported by Happy Punch on June 14th, Alex Pereira wasn't on UFC's roster the last time Conor McGregor fought. Now Pereira replaces him for the main event at UFC 303 on June 29th. That is pretty crazy. That just goes to show how fast someone can rise in the sport. From Davi Simbu MMA on Twitter, EU fans waking up tomorrow to see all the shenanigans that happened while they slept. From Mr. Testosterone, or I guess PC Strickland, MMA, McGregor fans who couldn't resell their ticket to International Fight Week. Another one from WCU MMA, 1,000 plus aura, Pereira, 1,000 negative aura, Valal. Mac Malley MMA says, all I'm saying is a second opportunity has presented itself. Instead of walking them to the cage, the UFC should just let Pereira and Jiri loose on opposite ends of the arena and just let them hunt each other live in a packed Madison Square Garden. Casual MMA posts aura versus no aura. Another one from Casual MMA Inc. These guys replaced John Jones versus Stipe at UFC 295, and now Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler at UFC 303. Legends. That's true. I mean, right here, another one from Hey Jive Picks. Dana, call Yuri and Potan. So yeah, I guess I forgot about this. I remember John Jones versus Stipe fell out, but I didn't know that this was the replacement fight. I remember watching it, I just don't remember that being that fight that they replaced. So damn, that's 3 times that Alex Pereira saved main events. Because we got 295, 300, and now 303. Dude is on his way to becoming a legend. OOC MMA, let's do this shit. It's the Easter Island statue and this Yes Chad meme with the number 2. This should have just been the poster right here. OOC MMA, how's your week been? Me, June 10th. The card going from okay to shit to then being alright. Here at I Hate You Delusion on Twitter says, if Alex wins at 303, he is officially the pound for pound best fighter in the UFC. Hey, that's a pretty good meme right there. But yeah, hey man, he did it. Davi Simbu MMA. This is what my girlfriend has been hearing in the shower all week, UFC 303. It's again.
Shama. 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 Shama no Shama. Hey, Adesanya. Come to daddy. Shama. Shama. Shama.
God, I love that this meme was recycled for the main event twice. All right, here from OOC MMA. 12 MMA fights signed 3 years ago. Middleweight champion, light heavyweight champion. Victories over 5 champs. Became a double champ in 2 years. First round KO'd in the main event of UFC 300. Will headlined UFC 303. Light heavyweight on short notice. Alex Pereira is truly a special fighter. Man, yeah, right now, Alex Pereira is him. Yeah, he is that guy. And you know what? When Pereira originally signed, when he did that rematch with Izzy, I was hoping for Izzy to get that win. Just to kind of, you know, when you fight a guy so many times, you hope at least he gets one of them. And ever since he got his one win, he's been really annoying about it. It's just, I'll actually get into that later. All right, let's take a look at some Yuri memes. This one from As Shopped As It Gets.
Oh, you gotta give him that hawk too and spit on that thing. You get me?
Congratulations. I'm coming. I'm coming!
That was a good use of that meme right there. It's all right. And then here's Yuri after the weigh-ins, I believe.
He's trying to play something. I saw him in his highs. What he's doing, some technique. Doesn't matter. I'm pure. I don't care. I just want to show the pure performance. Who's the best? I.
Poor Yuri, man. I'm here from Danny Segura TV. Prochazka walking out at 303. This one, how Yuri sees Pereira from UFC stats. Michael Bisping, Davidson Figueiredo. I don't know who the fuck this guy is, but this is hilarious. All right, apparently this is like before the fight. This dude is just living up. You know what? Like, man, if you're a main eventer and this is your mood before the fight, you're in a really good place because you just have all the confidence in the world to see I'm sure he still gets fight nerves, but it looks like he just doesn't. He's just that guy, man. Look at him. He doesn't have a worry in the world. Dude is just two-stepping. I don't know what music they were playing, but for copyright purposes, I'll probably just input one of my own tracks to avoid copyright. Ariel Hawani posted this and just wrote cinema.
Is his counterpart Jiri Prochazka.
Just a straight up another stare down. This stare down was like long. It was like 5 minutes or something like that. Just like the whole time Bruce Buffer was talking. It was so nuts. MMA Marcus, but no way we got part 2 of the stare down. Yeah, that stare down was so long. It was like a whole round if you think about it. So this fight could have gone a complete 6 rounds, but we only got 3.5 or 3.25, I guess. Speaking of which, let's actually take a look at this KO. Right here, he gets the switch kick and then bam, lands straight on the head. Let's actually take a look at this one more time. That switch right there, it's crazy because usually the switch kick, when you see that initial leading leg landing back here, I don't know if it's maybe because I drill this a lot with my coach and some of my sparring partners, but this switch kick, sometimes it's really predictable. Like right here, it seemed like a thing that he could have seen happening. I think also too, I don't know about you guys, but when I spar, I usually don't stare at the other person's face. I don't look them in the eyes. I'm usually looking at their chest. So when I'm sparring, I'm looking at your chest because from your chest, I can see, if I'm looking at your chest, your hands are in the way. So I see your hands immediately. And just below your chest is your hips. And if I see your hips do this switch right here, it usually prepares this hand right here for me to block. But I have to say again, in the first round, Jiri was already kind of KO'd in that first round. At the end of the first round, right before the bell, he kind of got a KO landed on him already. So who knows how this is affecting him in this beginning of the second round. And then boom, he lands it flush. Jiri goes down. Herb Dean comes in and then he kind of stops because, Yuri's kind of weird because he's also more than human. Like even though he's gotten knocked out, his body is still kind of responding. So Herb Dean sees the response from the body and thinks, okay, he's still good to go. He's not out yet. And Alex sees the same thing. So he's like, okay, I guess I'll finish this. I'll just keep going. Hammer fists. Jiri turns around, gets to turtle position. And then Alex continues this kind of ground and pound from the sides of the head, kind of like right behind the ear. And then Herb Dean finally calls a stop to it. Man, this is when I felt really bad for Jiri right here because he was just barely conscious. And it was just so, like, seeing Jiri Prochazka. Okay, here, let me say this. I'm a fan of both these fighters. So when they fought the first time and this time, it's one of those things where as a fan of two fighters, you're just like, man, I don't want to see either of you win or lose. It sucks. It sucks when you like both of the fighters. Anyways, let's continue with this. So here, Jiri is, like I said, barely conscious. Alex even, you see, he's actually trying to check up on him. I don't know why. I guess Herb Dean was just trying to give him some space. But you can see that Alex actually, it's nothing personal with Alex. And he was actually checking on Jiri for his well-being. And Jiri is here struggling to just kind of stand. And Alex is walking around. They even have like a moment where they kind of catch a glance at each other right here. And Jiri just looks, from the opposite cam, when I was watching the fight, he looks so sad. It's just so heartbreaking to see him in such a sad state. And then they have to sit him down here. Man, I'm a big fan of Pereira and I'm a big fan of Jiri. So, but to see Jiri out like this in this condition, it was pretty heartbreaking. I'm not gonna lie. Jamal Hill says, I'll sleep the next guy and then we go again. Great win, but we're not done. And under here, MMA Marcus, he just posted this as a reaction. Oh my God. Okay, for a brief moment before we end the video, let's talk about how Israel Adesanya plays into all of this. All right, from here, OOC MMA says, Adesanya said these 6 words about Alex Pereira and sparked one of the greatest MMA careers of all time.
I beat that guy one time. I beat that guy one time.
Yeah, because, it's just so crazy how Israel was a dominant champion for a long period of time, and Alex Pereira would be on Twitter or Instagram talking about how he beat Izzy and he you know, he would constantly jab at Izzy after each time Izzy won, talking about how he beat Izzy. And then Izzy kind of mocked him for that. And then, you know, Alex Pereira then joins the UFC, and look where he's at now. And then guess what? Izzy was right about him, UFC 303.
Go cause problems at 205, and fuck, good luck to everybody else, because he's a motherfucker to deal with. I'll tell you that.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Oscar. I don't think
so. Yeah, basically Izzy became the guy that he was saying that Alex was, talking about, oh, you know, he just talks about me and his, you know, he's just in a bar drinking, talking about me every time I win. But now Izzy is that guy talking about Alex every time he wins. Now he's the one posting the video of his 1 KO over Alex. But either way, without Izzy, you know, we wouldn't have an Alex Pereira, because let's be honest, the only reason Alex Pereira is here was because he wanted that shot at Izzy again to prove that he's better than him in MMA as well as kickboxing. So yeah, I mean, thanks to Izzy too. You gotta shout out Izzy for the genesis of Alex Pereira. But anyways, leave a comment below. What did you guys think of the fight? And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.